Good morning, friends, and welcome to Talking with Fence People. My name is host Eric. I'm the host of Talking with Fence People, and I'm here on a little getaway to Palm Desert, having a little vacation with my parents and Rachel. Marcy Grace Giolino, thank you. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Anyhow, we're here in the desert, and the title of this stream is The Dryness of the Soul, which doesn't really relate to a lot of anything in particular, except I guess it didn't when I came up with the title. Hi, Sarah, ISFP. But we're here in the desert, so dryness is on my mind. I'm an ENTP. And the road trip's going great. Hi, INFP Psych, INF Psych. I feel as though my soul is slowly wettening. Well, welcome, ISFJ. Glad to have you. So, you know, not much. How you doing, Adrian B? Just talking about the dryness of the soul. My soul is slowly wettening in the moistening presence of Rachel. I've come to realize, like, wow, I really needed somebody to actually love me. I didn't know that really, but I did. To treat me nicely and say nice things to me and stuff like that. We need an ESFJ so we can have full quadruple in the chat. Age does that to your personality. Well, by that do you mean I'm chiller than your average ENTP or something? I mean, I can be. I can also be quite ENTP-like. I just woke up, you know. Oh, dryness to wetness. Yeah, for sure. I've become more and more in touch with my FI as I've gotten older, and but it doesn't necessarily go well. It has for me. Like I've come to respect alternate attentional modes more and more as I've studied cognitive function. Hi, Dad. I gave Mom some more coffee, and I gave her. Thank you. Thank you, Dad.
This is the real stuff. Here's.
I gave her another little piece of cake because she wanted it. She said, "I need more coffee."
There you go.
Thank you, Dad. You're the best. So yeah, I'm feeling like I didn't really know how thirsty I was for moisture. That was, you know, at first I was for a woman to love me other than my mother. You know, my mother always loved me properly when I was a little kid and stuff, and so I had a good attachment style. But since then, I really haven't been in a relationship where the other person cares about me or really appreciates me at all. You know. More in tune with your ontological truth, FI getting close to sageness. Are you suggesting that, like Naruto, I might have sage mode at my disposal? That would be spectacular. I could get those frog eyes, use nature chi. I needed more refreshing moisture. That's where the Florida's natural brand grapefruit juice comes in. Well, normally it does. We actually are. We are without any Florida's natural grapefruit juice right now. I know that's right on. Cool. I'll show Rachel. She's in there right now still, but when she gets up, I'll talk to her about it. Maybe fate. I mean, that's the thing. It's not. There's no such thing as a destination of enlightenment or actualization or real self-realization or anything like that. That's just all bullshit. It's like what there really is. There are varying degrees of optimal functioning. Right now, I'm functioning pretty optimally, sort of ontologically, maybe not productively, but you know, I really see life as proceeding through phases or stages in the slabs narrative, you know, and the thing is, now is a time of moistening for me, for sure, across the board. I'm spending a lot of time with my family, you know, my parents, and getting to appreciate my dad for all of his quirks and everything, and also my mom, you know, who's still my mom, and who butts my chops this morning. I was watching her, and I peeked around the corner to just check to make sure she was still there and kosher. Everyone's kosher, you know. And she's like, "Well, come in and say hello." She's just like, you know, this sort of morning of lucidity, I guess. I need more coffee. I realized you know, I was kind of trying to half-ass it, and she called me out on it, and I appreciate that, you know. Hi, Freddie Candron. I mean, Struthi Strava, or however you say it. The thing about polar TI is that you don't really have to develop. My mom's actually pretty well optimized for an ENFP and has the dog shittiest TI you can imagine. I agree with you, actually. I think it's much less necessary for somebody with polar TI to develop decent TI than it is for somebody with polar FI to develop decent FI. I mean, the thing about FI is if you don't pay any attention to it, you can very easily end up in relationships like I was in prior to this one, where you're basically being subject to abuse all the time. And, you know, no matter how much self-esteem you have, no matter how many good defenses you have, and I had plenty of good defenses against that shit, right? I got this channel, I got a lot of affirmation from people here, I've got lots of things. You're right about that, fake wind. Or you lost the wind, I guess. I don't know what happened to the wind. Yeah, I agree. We should strive to have moist souls. You know, it's like I was lying in bed with Rachel last night, and I just said to her, you know, just I've needed the affection. I've needed affection for a long time. Genuine affection. It's hard to come by. I mean, sex is great and everything, but what I really needed was the affection more than anything else. Just the positivity. The viewing me as a good person and as somebody who's like a catch or something, rather than a burden. It's like I'm a plant, but the pain of being wilted isn't something I ever noticed until I started getting watered again. It's kind of disruptive emotionally to me, but you know, such is life. Yeah, genuine affection is like critically important, and genuine positive regard and like affirmation and stuff. I've tried that before, King Krishna Sarvam Pagoo. I would like to cut my hair a little bit better, more tidily, but I don't want to go bald again. Yeah, that stuff. It's the gooeyest of the goo. And the thing is, from what Rachel tells me, it's not as like she's been historically. Thanks, Jake Forrest. Pound sterlings, my favorite currency. TI needs attention just like FI, but how did TI want attention or affection? Well, TI wants things to be fair. They want you to communicate fairly and apply the same standard to you as to themselves to show that you're a team player. TIFE wants team player. FITE wants greed satisfaction. Like, the FI feeling of greed for another person is FI. What I feel a lot of is a great deal of like gratitude or whatever for being loved. I do feel a lot of affection for her and love for her and act accordingly. But my primary focus is on, wow, I really needed to be loved, Okay, that's Rachel. I was like, did my dad play that? The feeling when someone meets you and have a lot of love and affection and regard for you just because you were you, it's so good. Right. It's fantastic. And SI wants familiar comfort attention. I want that too, and I get that from her, she may be SI polar, but she's not, that doesn't prevent her from being familiar to me. And, she's always here. We're always together. I'm not saying I need gratitude. I do want somebody to appreciate. My sense of fairness is a combination of TI and FE. How much priority I put on the fairness and how much I put on fairness theater, that's dependent on whether it's TI or FE. FE is fairness theater, TI is fairness. You need space, lull, and fairness. I mean, the thing is, I am right. I expect appreciation. I expect it to be clear that somebody appreciates me. Rachel's extremely clear on that. She appreciates me, and I'm extremely clear that I appreciate her. It's like.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Sure, Dad. Come on.
The marketplace has pretty much everything you want. If you want to go up for anything from croissants, bagels.
Okay. So, well, Rachel's still just getting up. Rachel's really slept in. Then Rachel slept in. She's just getting up.
Okay. I just don't let your coffee get.
Okay, thanks, Dad. I'll get my coffee ready now. I mean, he's welcome to. He doesn't. I don't think he quite gets what this is or what is undoing. It's not something he ever really asks any questions about, or he just knows that I'm. No, it's 9 in the morning, but I've got this is a really nice condominium. It's got like those kind of blackout curtains that you can pull so it stays pitch black. Hey, it's Rachel Lapalosa. She's one of my moderators in case you guys haven't met her before. She keeps order around here with her blue wrench. So anyway, TI polar in my life meant that fairness was always defined by other people, and consequently I experienced a lot of injustice until one day I realized what I think is significant. I'll give Rachel this coffee. Thank you for reminding me, Alexandra Cruz. Take your time. Okay, right, exactly. The mods here behave, you guys. So, he misbehaves for attention. Supervision relationship, ISFJ and ESTJ relationship is said to be asymmetrical. How your parents get off so long. Actually, she's Rachel Lapis-Strauss. I'm Eric Strauss-Alosa. Okay, you got it backwards. Isaiah Rude. Well, I think they got along so well because my mom just deferred to my dad mostly, you know. And then she didn't like something and she would put her foot down and she'd say, no, 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 and stomp her foot. I don't know. It worked for them, I guess. Let's see. Would existentialism be an FI-based philosophical concept? I mean, it depends what you think the it depends what you think existentialism means. You know, I would say its central concept is if you live in the reality of your own mortality all the time, that somehow you're liberated from an implicit fear of being. I would say, I don't know what you'd call that. Maybe FI, maybe TI. It's not. It depends how you approach the words, I guess. Defer to the INFPs. I typically do on some matters. Existentialism is a tradition of philosophy inquiry, philosophy which takes as starting point the experience of the human subject, not merely the thinking subject, but the acting feeling of the human individual. I mean, it sounds like SIFI, what it sounds like. Because it's really interesting seeing Rachel apply almost exclusively NI in relations to things. We saw some ducks flying by our patio out here last night. She said duck hunt. Because it did. It looked like the game Duck Hunt. She didn't say, let me tell you the story about the time my uncle and I went duck hunting. And, it's just all NI, which is cool. Everything is linked to the universal. Rachel?
What?
Can you turn that off?
Oh, sure, sorry.
Was still FI. I mean, the thing about that idea of the thinking subject, but the acting, feeling, living human individual, that's saying, it's very experience-minded, right? It's like, what are you trying to do?
I was actually...
Are you going outside?
Actually, I might go outside, but I was trying to get more light, but I don't think it's it.
Oh, yeah, this is... I tried different things. I closed the light blinds because I figured it made it a little bit more clear. No, Duck Hunt's not abstract. She's always drawing links between events and movies, scenes in books or movies, like in that case, a video game. The point isn't whether or not it's abstract or concrete. The point is whether it's universal or experiential or particular. So an SI user will say, let me tell you the story about the time that I relate to this vision of ducks flying by is from my personal life that I can link to. an NI user will link to some universal icon that everybody can relate to. The mod is distracted. She's right here. I don't think she's terribly distracted at the moment. Let's see. I'm slightly terrified of ESTPs when I'm in their presence. I think everyone's a little intimidated by ESTPs. Oh, is she my wife now? Thanks, babe. Yes, she is very pretty.
Thanks.
She's not my wife, though, I gotta tell you.
Am I Mrs. Strasselosa or?
No, you're Mrs. Lapstrauss.
Lapstrauss.
Right. I'm Eric Strasselosa.
Hey. How do you say that?
Figgy Cuke.
Figgy Cuke.
Figgy Cuke. ENTJs. Well, Alexander Cruz, I am not opposed to doing that at some point, but I think it's a little quick. A little bit quick to be talking about that. How long have we been together, Rachel?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay, so let's just.
He did give me a pen.
I gave her 2 pens.
Yeah, 2.
Because the first pen I wasn't very satisfied with. You know what? That pen's not that cool.
I liked it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You're a wonderful lady. That's why. The thing is, ESTPs do have an intimidating vibe to a certain extent, but I only feel a little bit intimidated by them if I've got my woman with me. I always have this sort of fear that an ESTP might at any moment use their ESTP magic to get my woman out of her clothes. So so he doesn't run away with other Hitlers. Well, what's that? When am I among the Hitlers, and why?
All right, I'll put a ring on it.
Yeah. Internally.
Could it be a blow pop, like one of those candy rings? That's what he's getting.
If you start pretending you're married, it's like being married. I know. Well, I'm not quite ready to pretend we're married yet. I'm still pretending we're engaged. I don't know.
Yeah, it is kind of like that, right? But that's nice. I like that. I don't want to jump right into it.
Right.
I've never been engaged before.
I have a hard time knowing when someone's judging me unless it's with toxic ESFPs. They're loud as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did call ENFJs Hitlers. That's true.
Oh, well. He's right.
I've said a lot of things about ENFJs, actually, but
I remember reading, the write-up that you have, your documents, and seeing that ENFJs were actual Hitlers, and I was like, oh. I liked it. Not that I like Hitler, but.
The thing is, it is true that I've said some things about ENFJs in the past, but that's, this is the thing. I get what I pay for, right? Just like I used to talk shit about ESTPs, then it turned out my daughter was one. I'm like, well, kind of wish I hadn't talked all that shit. Now, here we go. I talked some shit about ENFJs.
That happens, right?
It turns out my precious beloved is one. And now I kind of wish I hadn't talked all that shit.
Hey, but to be fair, I don't know all the shit that you talk.
I mean, mostly I had 2 things to say about ENFJs. That they have no soul and they're Hitler. Mostly just those 2 things.
Now, do you think that, now it's commonly said that Hitler was an INFJ. Do you agree with that? Or would you say he's more of an ENFJ?
I think he's an ENFJ.
Yeah. I do too.
Look, I used to have doubts about whether my daughter was an ESTP or an ENTP. But the fact is, she looks like Beta Quadra. She acts like Beta Quadra. And I've hung out with Becky. Becky is an ENTP. My daughter is not. That's it. when you hang out with a real girl ENTP like Becky, it's obvious Delilah's not an ENTP. Yes, Rachel does seem very un-Hitler-like. I agree. She's a wonderful, wonderful human being whom I love with all my heart. And obviously, that's, that's the slab's jokes. The slab like to play jokes like that on me. If I talk shit, then all of a sudden it plays this kind of joke on me, Oh, Whiz Sauce, getting your penis cured, I see. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Way to get rid of the gonorrhea.
That is honestly a very noble thing because a lot of people do not take care of it.
A good job taking care of it.
Yeah. Hey, Jean Grey.
Jake Force just got back from a chiropractor.
Oh.
You see, you actually did pretty well with Sauce. You had sexual intercourse and your penis got sick. Like Jake Force had sexual intercourse and he hurt his back. It's easy to cure your penis. Your back's a little bit more of a challenge. I have some SJ-ish qualities just because I'm constantly surrounded by them. Like what? Like, do you like to clap your hands and organize everybody into picture-taking groups? I would totally do with an ENTP chick as long as she gave me some room to talk every once in a while. All you got to do is say something once or twice. A little FE pain goes a long way with an ENTP.
That's interesting. Elizabeth B. Milburn. My 16-year-old INTJ son read Hitler's diary, and he said it sounds like me, INFJ. It really could. He could be.
You're like, thanks, son.
Yeah, right.
Wow, thanks.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
very complimentary.
I think it's fascinating. So fascinating.
Eric doesn't know how to type. Thanks, Sliced Apples.
Sliced Apples wants to be typed. You should call. You should set up an appointment to get typed with him. He'll ask you questions and then deduct from there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Rachel is an example of a mistake people make a lot of times in typology.
Yeah.
That they conclude that they can deduce whether somebody's a sensor or an intuitive based on their impression of their level of abstractness, which is not going to be very successful.
They also, with like thinking and feeling too, a lot of the questions are, would you care about a person or not? Like, do you care about people's feelings or not? And that's supposed to reveal whether you're a thinker or a feeler. And I don't think that's correct either. I think the way that you ask the questions is more accurate.
All right. Well, because if you ask just self-reporting stuff, people are going to say, yeah, I care about people's feelings, regardless, Yeah, I'm creative, regardless. Yeah, I'm smart.
Yeah. And
you're going to go like, I'm dumb and uncreative. Tell me, which type am I?
And it depends on the mood that you're in, too. Sometimes if, you're taking a test and you're in a shitty mood or you're having an off day, you could answer things differently based on your mood. Yeah. Or the perceived person you want to be. Like a lot of people, like you were saying, like they answer in certain ways because they want to be a certain way. Or they see themselves as a certain way.
It's not easy typing someone. We are way more than just our type. This makes us unique.
Yeah.
It's true, but the nice thing about type is it's not a description of a person. It's a set of processes that manifest in different ways. The processes remain the same, regardless of how you manifest them. As long as you can isolate the processes from the manifestations, then you can do a legitimate job of typing somebody. If you can't isolate the two from each other, like Sliced Apples has trouble with that apparently, then you're going to make lots of mistakes. I gotta smoke this cigarette. Rachel, can you hold down the fort for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, darling.
Sure.
You are my most precious of all precious angels.
You're my most precious of precious sleeping people. if you're boxing a person just because of their type, this easily happen. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's kind of like, I think that's why a lot of people don't like astrology too. One, because it's like based in the skies, and it doesn't seem to have any sort of like scientific background. But also, people don't like to be labeled as one thing. So it is, you know, for people to take a test and then find out that they're a certain type and then feel limited by that. Like, I get it. You know, there are many layers to the human psyche, to the human personality, to us as human beings. Some that draw us together and some that sort of we can see the differences with. Yeah, you can be mistyped. But I do think it's worth looking into, because when you do look into your psychological personality, you start to trace the patterns that you make. Rachel, how have you found some sort of workaround SI polar? So I have to work at it. SI polar, I have to work out a lot. As I've gotten older, I have become more wise with SI stuff, as in like when I have to pee, when I'm hungry, how much sleep should I get? Like as a kid, all that stuff was kind of roaming free, unless my ESTJ mom was kind of like putting a handle on it. Other than that, like I was just kind of like forgetting to take care of myself. But as I've gotten older, I've prioritized it a lot more. I'm actually JL. I'm from New York, from Long Island, New York. I don't know if you were able to pick that up at all. Oh no, I'm so sorry, King Krishna Sarma Pragu.
What happened to King Krishna Sarma Pragu? Oh, her dog died. That's fucking rough, dude.
That is.
That was like one of the worst things that ever happened to me. My dog died.
Yeah, I think the people who get stuck on young are limiting themselves as well. Yeah, I was destructive with my SI. I wouldn't say that I was, like, in terms of, like, I would get bruises a lot, all the time. My grandma would always look at my legs and be like, where are you getting these bruises from?
She still gets bruises all the time.
Yeah, I do. It's a lot better, but I still do. Pee-Pee's back in Los Angeles.
Yeah, I left a big plate of food out for her. We're only going to be gone in a night or two, so she'll be okay.
Oh, I'm glad that you feel slightly better. JL, you got it? That's great. I'm so glad that you were able to tell where my accent was from. Hey, George. Favorite typology system? Oh, God. I like combining them, honestly. I don't think I really have a favorite. I mean, I learned Myers-Briggs at a young age, and then I continued to do research and found out socionics and Enneagram. And the combination of the three of them, actually, I prefer. I don't think I have a favorite. Do you have a favorite?
I mean, the way I do it is the right way to do it. And in my opinion, the key elements that distinguish the way I do it from the other ways and make it correct are, number one, there's two dimensions, namely metaphysical and physical. You're not distinguishing between those two and recognizing that the functions are native to one or the other, then you're going to get some things wrong. Number two, it's not just information metabolism. Attention is action, it's receiving information, it's processing information, and it's interfacing with systems. So if you don't get those two basic sort of structural things right, then your system's going to be wrong. But, you know, that's obviously I'm going to say I'm right, but nobody's successfully countered anything I'm saying yet. So yeah. I think I am.
Yeah. It's the most advanced.
I just think it's the most realistic because it has a engine that's already proven to work. We know that agents in a system put information, receive information, get information, and interface with the system. And that's how we model the internet and stuff. we can simulate this notion. It's actually something that could be meaningfully used to predict things and stuff. So it's obviously the best way to do it that's in existence so far. It might be beat sometime by somebody else's understanding, but at the moment, it actually, Chris Chapman, I'm so glad you said that. I am so glad. You're right. Do you feel the NI truth of that as well? My NI tool using Darling?
That is so funny.
That the 4 times is the right number of times to beep?
I had no idea. I never even noticed it because I don't even wait for the beep sometimes.
Hmm.
I didn't know that it was supposed to be 4.
It just feels right to me. I agree, Chris.
Yeah.
4 is the right number of beeps. See, Joey Shabadoo agrees. 4 times is the only amount for beeps.
I had no idea.
The I's, the P and J for introverts is flipped. Yeah, the P and J is flipped. This is a rather a swanky place. I gotta say, this condo
It really is.
quite
It's so
swanky.
nice.
Like right now, this large TV that they have here actually has an HDMI in on the front of it, so that I can hook up the computer easily to the TV. And also, all of the outlets around here, they've got USB plug things for charging USB shit, which is nice. Thanks. Rachel actually picked this shirt out.
I did.
First short sleeve shirt she was able to successfully grab, I think.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that would be nice.
Mine will beep every 1 minute until I open it. It's like a needy girlfriend. That's annoying. That's annoying. But it's probably a good thing, actually, too. That dissertation was done when I was on my bachelor's Prague. We look like
The
siblings. The other night, somebody said we look like father and daughter. When you look like siblings, then I think that the part of the reason for that is we've got the same basic skin tone.
Yeah.
I've noticed, and we seem to just sort of fit together. I like the way that we look together. I like the way that she fits like under my arm and stuff. And how much RAM does my ENTP brain have? Not very much. Very, very little RAM. I can only keep a few notions in my head at once, and I'll lose them quickly. She also has very little RAM.
Mm.
But that's what it means to be, to be using yeah, go for it. That's what it means to be using a universalist understanding of things. She and I are both very metaphysical types, and being a metaphysical type means using low resolution information, takeaways rather than experiences. And keeping experience in your head is RAM, whereas being the takeaways doesn't require as much RAM. Eric has a very likable face. Well, thank you, Jonathan's son. I've worked on that for years. I've been rubbing likability cream on my face for years now. I'm glad to see it's working. Jake Forrest, you're not the first person to say that. Spacey said that, and eventually he finagled it so that, it became more like that. Let me see what this says up here. How has having TI in the first second slot helped strong TI users in the chat? I mean, the thing is, when you have strong TI, you can win the argument. And that's, depending on what you think about that, that's important or not important or good or bad or whatever. But, it does change your relationship with the world, right? Like, I'm not very intimidated going into just about any situation. And the reason is because I know if there's some sort of, like, almost all conflicts or disputes or battles in life are verbal. There's very few sword fights anymore these days. Hey, Dad.
Everybody up?
Yep, Rachel's just going to the bathroom. Have I mentally had to beat someone up in the street in the past? I mean, sure, I've had plenty of encounters where I needed to win the argument, you know? And it doesn't just apply in those instances when you need to win the argument. It changes how you go about interacting with people in general. The thing is, though, the thing to remember is for being an improviser, it's not the case that DNTP wins all the arguments early on. You have to, there's an SI component to it. I try to always think out all the possible things the other person might say. But I should debated that cop. Well, I mean, it's like, well, there was the one time when the cop pushed me for no good reason, you know. And in that instance, I wasn't scared to go and make a big scene about it because I knew I won all the arguments or ahead of time. So it's easy enough to think through all the argument chains. And there was nothing, he had nothing. So that's the thing, is when you're a TI tool, you trust your judgment in that. You trust your own judgment. You go like, okay, well, I know I can win all the arguments. I don't care what all these other people are saying about, well, what if they say this or what if they do that? I've already thought through what if they say this, what if they say that. The only thing that concerned me is, well, what if they kill you or something like that? Then I go, well, then, you know, I mean, I can't talk my way out of that. Yeah, he's a weirdo, all right. I was in Cruz. Solving problems is more TE. I agree. TI is not really solvency based. It's verbal reasoning. Now, there's some solvency to having good verbal reasoning skills, as indicated. The other side of TI is FE. So when I got arrested in Oklahoma, I didn't do any sort of TI battle with those cops. I kissed a lot of ass and acted deferential and did all the FE stuff in order to get myself out of there as quickly as possible. So, you know, TI and FE are two sides of the same coin. Do you want to win the argument or do you want to kiss some ass? You know, either way, you're trying to get out of this situation. Always know, Jake, you are talented enough to do something in this world and make a man of yourself. Thanks, Christmas, Farmer Pagoo. You hear that, Jake? You could still someday become a man. I'm sure that makes Jake feel real good, Ken Christmas, Farmer Pagoo. Well, sure. That sort of policy prescription is exactly the kind of situation in which verbal reasoning is the preferred modality of policy. But Mein Kampf is FENI. It's got no TI in it at all. It doesn't even really have any TE in it. If all functions solve problems, then the fact that your TI does that gives no information about your relationship with TI. I mean, I don't think that all functions solve problems. Well, all functions have utility of some sort. Do you want to go see if my dad wants some help with my mom? I appreciate that. Thank you, Rachel. Oh, by the way, I've decided your EXP. Like, oh, great, Slice Devils. Thanks. Thanks for sharing that typing up with me. Well, guys, you heard the news. If you are here because I'm an ENTP or something, just see you later. Turns out I was an ESTP the whole time. Sliced apples. Sliced apples nailed it. So, I disagree. ESFPs can understand problems and solve them with polar TI. Sure.
Yeah, it happened. Well, okay. Does it happen on just one layer? No. I mean, I think ENTP is extremely deft with frame shifting and juggling frames. So in that level, no. But I mean, I have trouble keeping track of back threads and linking them back together after a certain point. You know, I just don't. I just don't. Like in this context, you can see it happen all the time where I start down a given track and then I get distracted by someone else in the chat and I follow that track and I never go back to the original track. It's like I just lose shit like that. You get your way through SE, not NE. I get my way, huh? Interesting. Well, I mean, I agree that the only reason my NE can be effective is because it's enabled by my SE. That's 8th slot, you know. Your 8th slot function empowers and enables. It's kind of an engine for your first slot. My NE, it stays sitting around my own feet unless I make it public, do the legwork to make it happen. For show, where is Hambone? Hambone's on an adventure, obviously. He's gonna slay a dragon, save a princess. Someone's kidnapped Hambone. Someone put him in a pot of lentils. I see more SE than anything. Yes, I know, Slice Apples. You keep making unsubstantiated claims without any warrants or reasons or anything. You just say random shit. I get it. It's a neat trick. But you've already displayed that trick. Do you have any other tricks? It sounds like a combination of TI and TE to make sense of something and thereby know how to go about solving a problem. I started referring to the 8th as a slave function because it's a slave to the 1st. Good way to put it. Bye, Sarah ISFP. Have a nice day. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. God explaining the thought process you use to do your thought process is weird. It's a little meta, right? Things can get a little meta sometimes. Explain why you're not ESP. Explain why I am Sliced Apples. You're the one making the claim, for God's sake. You haven't substantiated it yet. Why would you give me nothing to negate? Remember, there's an half side and an egg side. You're affirming that I'm an ESTP. So you need to justify the claim, and then I'll negate your justifications. That's how it works. You asked first. You're not asking me to justify my claim. You're asking me to negate yours, but you haven't provided any substantiation for it. So there's nothing to negate. Sorry. Doesn't work like that. Bull's functions are used more freely than conscious functions, sometimes in a way that makes the subdued value more heavily used than a valued function. He's not serious though anyway. You know, he's not a serious thinker in any sense of the word, so he's just trolling. You know, which is fine. I don't mind a little casual trolling of this fashion. It's pleasant enough. He's not crossing any lines. He's just being a douche. I do, but I don't know why you say I'm an ESTP. After all, I can only negate your claim and your justifications.
She'll do it. Come on, Dwayne.
Let's see here.
Yeah, you got it.
I'm not making that claim. You are.
Yeah.
You're claiming that I am an ESTP, so you need to justify it, and I'll negate the justifications. Like, you haven't provided any justification or substantiation.
3.
See what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. You're welcome to pay me to sit there and tell you for an hour why I'm not an ESTP. I'd be happy to do that. Orochimaru is no ESTP. I would agree with that, Jonas and Henry. In no sane universe does anybody conclude that Orochimaru is an ESTP. Actually, Sliced Apples, I didn't make that claim this morning. I'm not engaged in that topic at all. Okay? You're the one making claims about my type, not me.
My topic?
One of my favorite juxtapositions is Taylor and Eric. Yes, Taylor's an ESTP. I'm an ENTP. We're pretty clearly different. You can see the differences yourself if you'd like.
Usually about a minute apiece.
A minute apiece? Okay, that's
Slice Apple does a good job of demonstrating why it's important to understand some basic argumentation and reasoning skill stuff.
This is a more powerful.
Why TI matters a little bit. You don't want to end up sounding like a moron like Slice Apples, you know.
See how it turns out.
Yeah, GSP's techniques aren't just as batshit crazy as CSPs. But oh yeah, I watched the shit out of Naruto. I watched the whole thing. I watched all of the episodes. I mean, I skipped some filler episodes, yeah. But I was harsh. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be feeling sliced apples. I'm just saying, you know, you're a good example of why it's important to learn some basic reasoning skills and stuff, right? Otherwise, you kind of look foolish.
yeah.
I could. Let's disprove sliced apples. This will be fun. Well, sliced apples, I just put you on timeout. I guess you were wrong. I guess I could get at you another way, huh?
It's gorgeous. It's so large.
Well,
and
go ahead. Tell me what you have to say, sliced apples. Come on. Beat me up verbally with your petit repartee. Oh, that's right. You can't. You're on timeout. You need a one-to-one live stream, Eric, asking all your typology questions will be immensely beneficial for all of us. I would love for that to happen, Freddie Chandler. Well, I'm sorry, Jake. I will come in closer like this so that you can hear my voice more clearly. Do you think you might be? She's an introvert.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, well, relatively, you know, it's really
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have one.
I haven't seen your videos yet, Jake. I'm interested in seeing them. I'll try to look at them at some point today. Sliced Apples is C.S. Joseph follower on what type they are and think they are. He probably is. You know, he's a dedicated C.S. Joseph troll. He might even be C.S. Joseph. You know, the reasoning's about equivalent. I mean, he's got to be
Yeah, we are pretty tall.
just
Yeah.
very frustrated because
Yeah, he is like.
okay, Gene, great. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Freddie Chandler, and I agree. You've got lots of questions about typology and stuff, and you've got this very FI-driven advocacy. You know, it's like your advocacy is clearly on behalf of FI and expanding the definition of it and making it responsible for things it's not responsible for, and challenging me wherever you can, using that NE tool function as you do. It would be great. You know, you'd probably give me more of a challenge than anybody ever had before in terms of my own system and trying to knock holes in it. You know, I appreciate that quality of yours, is that you are very adversarial. So it would definitely be worthwhile for Freddie Chandler to ask me all these questions and stuff. And he might be. But see, he's not, it's like it's wicked trolling if he's trolling. It's not morally acceptable. So
Yeah.
Until 5:30.
Okay.
I was just running at 3:50. And Hill is pitching for the Dodgers.
oh yeah, Jake Forrest, you do tarot stuff, right? Jake Forrest? I've been getting that hermit card a lot.
Yeah, you have.
All my tarot stuff lately have been. We've never seen Rachel and Sliced Apples in the same room at the same time. That would be pretty tricky if Rachel was actually Sliced Apples.
Why?
So it ended up being 5 minutes.
Jake's welcome to plug himself here.
Nice things.
You are absolutely welcome to, Jake. I encourage you to do so. I appreciate your making video efforts, and I'm a big supporter of everybody doing shit, you know. Have a good day, Jake. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese. Is D video breaking? I don't think so. I'll probably wrap this up here pretty quick myself, I think.
I think I ate of this.
So yeah, but I just want to say that in general, it seems like
Oh, thank you very
I'm
much.
frozen. Am I still frozen? Am I still frozen? Anybody? Anybody? Anybody?
Okay, dear, let's go. We're gonna go on errands.
Okay.
We're gonna go to the car.
So what the
Oh,
tarot has spoken to me in general lately is
You find it
moderation,
so-
temperance, responsibility,
actually, I don't know.
reliability, being careful.
Oh.
No, I know that. It's like,
Okay.
it's basically the message I've been getting from those tarot cards is, you know, this is a period of settling and, you know, like waiting for plants to grow and letting plants grow and taking care and tending to things, you know? And so I feel that's very much helping to frame how I am and how I act and stuff. And it's nice. It's the sort of thing that it's Rachel did, really. I mean, I just, people would talk about it and stuff, and I was kind of curious about it, but I didn't really start doing any tarot stuff here on the channel until I got with Rachel, and we've enjoyed pulling cards for people. We will in a little bit. My parents are about to head out of here, and I figure we'll probably do that afterwards.
Yeah.
KKSP says, Rachel, if you are interested in a form of astrology being rumored to be highly predictive, then do check out Sidereal Eastern Vedic Astrology.
Oh my gosh, was I not looking that up the other day?
You were looking at something like that. I don't remember what it was called,
Yes.
but I believe it was that. I believe it was that.
Yeah, I absolutely am interested in that. Does Kane Krishna Sadhguru have a website that I could use?
Do you have a particular site that you like to reference? KKSP? Hashtag not frozen. If you're frozen, press F5 to refresh. To refresh. To refresh. I've been it's like, the thing about the tarot shit is it's been pretty goddamn trippy. Like, we keep pulling, like, just as though you just textbook cards, you know, like, it's been really almost spooky.
Yeah.
And indeed, the cards we pull people in here, even, it seems to be a lot of times just like right on the money. And
Yeah, please. I used I have heard that Vedic astrology is better for compatibility than Western astrology, which I still don't really get, but I just like all that stuff and comparing.
I mean, Tarot Red Bull, I see that stuff as basically time magic anchor points. Like, I'm going to be doing the same kind of time magic no matter what, which is to say I'm going to be trying to refine and detail the stories of my life, her life, our lives together, etc. Whether I'm using a tarot anchor point or not. The tarot anchor point, it gives me sort of like
a frame that I can reference back to. So, you know, well, Christina Bowman, that's because you're not understanding the nature of time magic. You don't understand that there's power in creating the realities you want. Whether you call it self-fulfilling prophecy or whatever else you want, you are choosing to not exercise the power you have if you don't exercise the power of storytelling, which can define not only your realities, but everybody else's reality too, if you're good enough at it. So if you don't believe that's magic, I don't know what is.
And, you know, to some degree, it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. I definitely have read tarot cards obsessively to the point of getting the opposite answer that I was looking for because I was just so obsessed with getting the answer that I wanted rather than what I needed to hear.
Well, I got to tell you, I think I'm appropriately careful in my approach to these things. I understand that as anchor points, they have weight and significance in the time magic equal to the respect you afford them and the discretion with which you exercise the ability to establish anchor points. It's not just me fulfilling those stories, Christina Bowman. In this conversation, you're fulfilling one of my stories right now. You just got to think about it. You can hold it down when I smoke a cigarette.
I'm doing great. I'm Capricorn. He is Taurus. Yes, Rudy. That is how I use astrology and tarot. With astrology, when I found out about like birth charts, it actually looking into it told me a lot about myself and sometimes things that I didn't want to hear. But once I accepted it and kind of like introspected and meditated on like the characteristics that the birth chart was showing, I had an easier time accepting both the positive and maybe darker aspects to my personality. It's not the only way to do it, but it actually really did help me accept stuff like sometimes I rush too much, and when I rush, I end up hurting myself. That's stated in my birth chart. But again, like take all this stuff with like your own opinion on it and how you want to use it. Like it's different for everyone. I like it for personal growth. Boxers again. So my sun, Rizy, is Capricorn. My moon is Sagittarius, and my ascendant is Libra. I like numerology. I think it's just another tool. Like, for instance, right now I am in a 7 life cycle that goes on for several years, and the 7 life cycles focus on singularity and spirituality.
Sweetheart, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'm pretty worried. Have you smoked any weed this morning at all?
I haven't.
Oh my God. Let's fix that right away.
It's all based on last night's residue.
That's terribly irresponsible of me. I am so sorry. Here, let's fix that right now.
And Jean Grey, 11 is a master builder number. Look into it.
Mine's 22. I got a good number as well.
Yeah, that is a lot of love.
I will not eat your food. It will be here when you get back. Okay.
Crazy caught you calling me sweetheart.
You are my sweetheart. You have to take that outside.
Yeah, that's fine by me.
Okay.
I think typology is a good way to do the same thing, probably more accurate because it's based on what you were known to be as a person. Well, I mean, Christina Bowman, I think it's a very different kind of thing. It's typology is a process analysis of how a person actually engages in um, that's funny, Fate. I don't think so. Yeah, so well, it's just like if you're doing a process analysis of yourself, you're understanding what your reflexive attentional manners are. And that's part of being an example of a type. You can metacognate out of that a lot. So I'm much more open to alternate attentional manners because I've done a lot of metacognition about it. Magic's a whole different thing than analysis. Analysis and magic need to be kept in separate areas. You mix them together, and you're not doing it right. Magic's fine, but magic needs to stay in its respective place, you know? Tara once told me to stop being a whiny bitch and appreciate the riches I have in my life. There's one card I call the first world problems card. Paige and Tori got that. Believe me when I tell you, in no uncertain terms, Fade, Rachel is not an INTP. Okay, how do you approach things like tarot, astrology, and religion? Do you believe to be real? Like I said, it's real within its frame. This is something that ENTPs are expert at, is keeping frames distinct. I understand that magic is real within its frame and not real outside of its frame, and that one needs to apply it accordingly. It's you know, and it can be a tricky line to walk, I guess, in that you have to. It doesn't seem a tricky line to walk to me, but you know, I'm in different. You're in different circumstances in your life. You need to apply different kind of things to those circumstances. If I'm dealing with somebody who's giving me some sort of difficulty, I'm all TI. There's no magic in my justifications for anything, right? Because those justifications need to be communicable. But when I'm talking about my own life and creating my own future and defining my realities, then that's a different matter. Yeah. So my approach to those things is to keep them in their proper place. I don't mush them together because I'm bipolar. My attachment to a given modality is not a relevant factor. I've heard people say that I have trouble typing people when my emotions are involved. Not true. My mistyping of Delilah was due to ignorance on my part, not due to attachment to the idea that she was an ENTP. How long is my tolerance break for weed? I'm not quite sure what that question means, but I mean, I smoke it kind of all day long, usually. It depends how busy I am. Some days I go longer stretches of time without any weed than others. She's ESTP. Mine is definitely an ESTP. Seems really obvious to me now. I mean, her TI is through the roof. She's very action-oriented, but she's just not ideationally active like I am. And, you know, there was a time when I would have thought that was a shortcoming. Like, oh, too bad my child's not as as me.
You mean if I took a break from smoking weed so that it would be maximally impactful again to me? I guess I would be quite a while I have to take a break for it. I mean, maybe a couple of days or something. Like last night I ate 100 milligrams of edibles. And it got me high enough that when we got back from dinner and everything, instead of feeling like life dreaming, I felt like just going to bed. How do I act without it? The same. You know, I've quit weed plenty of times before. The only difference really is when I quit smoking weed, I started dreaming more. I have more vivid dreams for a stretch of time. And then they kind of go back to normal. I don't really feel like I'm addicted to weed because I never really feel like I'm fiending for it. There are times when it's been a long time since I smoked it, and then when I get home, I'll be like, oh, right, I'm going to smoke some weed right now. That'll be nice. But I don't think to myself, like, damn, I want to smoke some weed right now very often. It just doesn't work like that for me. I've not tried the THC beverages. I don't remember my dreams very well or very long. Last night I had some sort of dream involving like a monster or something. I don't know. I've been having dreams lately of like floating down a river in a forest and on like a boat, but there's like something chasing us or some sort of catastrophe going on. It seems like I've been having those dreams the last few nights. I'm not sure what that means. Do you need more?
Yeah.
You need more?
Oh, I was coming in for more, but that's what you're suggesting.
Well, I was saying, do you need more? Do you want more?
I was gonna wait. I was good, but
Okay, do you want to switch places with me and I'll go smoke some?
okay.
I was just talking to people here about something very important. Oh yeah, whether I remember my dreams. I was telling them, I'm having dreams lately where I'm floating down some sort of river in like a forest on a boat, but there's some sort of catastrophe or something chasing us.
Interesting.
Do you remember your dreams? Why don't you go over there and talk to them?
So dreams. I actually don't remember many of my dreams. The ones that I have that I do remember are pretty vivid. They usually happen after I wake up from something else, and they're pretty mystical, either in a positive way or negative way. I could see that, Jean Grey. When you sleep during the daytime, you remember your dreams. If I smoke weed, I usually don't remember my dreams. That's interesting. I never did. Even when I was a kid, I hardly had dreams that I remembered. That sounds quite fascinating, Shruti. And I feel like INTJs would remember their dreams. I had the chasing boat dream too, where there was also tentacle monsters I was ripping apart. Huh. Oh.
Do you
You
want
saw
to?
one of your grandpas die today? King King? Yeah, I was going to ask Joey in a dream. That's intense. Fake practice your short-term memory to remember your dreams better. Pot is not useful for this. Yeah, hours later it can be gone. I like to write down my dreams. When I have a dream, I will write it down. If it's like super intense at the time, if I have a book next to me, I will try to drowsily write it down.
All right. Who wants us to pull a card for them? The tarot is here. The tarot shall speak. Let's see. The other interesting thing, I get much more powerful emotions in my dreams than in real life. I don't feel that way, NC. Wiz Sauce wants a card. Okay, Wiz Sauce. Well, maybe at the clinic today, while you're getting your penis fixed, you meet somebody that you feel a little bit of moisture towards. A little bit of homeward, harmony-based cohabitation, happiness. Maybe you meet that special someone today. We're not sure. But regardless, today's a day of quiet, home, happy time for you, Wiz Sauce. So time to leave school and go back home. Okay. Who else wanted one?
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey. Then Fig Hig Cuke. You want to pull one for Jean Grey? Jean Grey. Well, looks like a better day for you today. You got the Page of Pentacles. This means that it's a day where, you know, you're going to get some royalties, some perks. You're going to appreciate some gains. You're going to get some exciting news. All that kind of stuff is in store for you today with the Page of Pentacles.
You're going to feel youthful.
Yeah, youthful. Youthful. Yeah, sex, I see it. Oh, you're going to have sex today? Okay, well, good. That's a good plan. You got that.
Yeah.
All right. Third person was Fig Hig Cuke. Fig Hig Cuke. You got the Two of Rods. Today is the day for partnership, vision, path, plan, aligned, kindred. You're going to work with somebody in a cooperative endeavor to good effect.
Bye, Shruti.
Bye, Shruti Chandran.
Oh, it is good. Shruti.
Walter Wiseman wants a card. I mean, that's how you pronounce your name in Indian. Okay, Walter Wiseman. I'm going to pick one for Walter Wiseman.
Walter Wiseman.
Walter Wiseman. Boom. You need to be greedy today. Is what that's telling you. Be a miserly hoarder. Or it could be saying this could cause you problems. I'm not sure. This is the Four of Pentacles. You've got greed, hoarding, limit, possessions, miser. So don't go out there and be a spendthrift today, I guess it's saying, you know. Hold your possessions tight to your breast. Joey Joe Shabadoo. Let's see what Joey Joe Shabadoo's card is. Visualize Joey Joe Shabadoo in your head and pull the card. Here we go. Boom. This is the Eight of Cups. Journey. Unknown. Done. Did I say done?
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Done and unknown almost seem like they contradict each other, you know? But the point is, there's a journey focused here. Whether you're ending a journey, whether you're reaching into the unknown, whether something's done and concluded, we're not sure. But there's a very journey-themed frame in your day-to-day today. Joey Shabadoo. And C.
It could be like you're done with the situation.
Like, I'm done with this. I'm
Yeah.
done with things being unknown. Okay, Fate wants a tarot card. Fate, for you, we have pulled this one. Ooh, nice day for you. 6 of Rods. It's a day of victory, triumph. That thing you've got coming up, whatever it might be, you're gonna kill it. All right. This is prestige too. You're gonna impress everybody when you do kill it. So whatever you got planned for this evening or something, you're gonna make a big public splash, and it's gonna go like, wow, look at fate. And C. And C. Oh, there must be this one, I
Popped
guess. One
out.
popped right out.
Ooh.
It is time to stroke your vulva. Why? Intuition, femininity. It's time to get in tune with your inner woman and your outer woman. It is the High Priestess card.
Mhm.
That means feminine intuition, sense, feelings, omens, and vibes. All right? So there you go. Maybe saying in your work meeting, you need to bring out your ovaries. Lay them on the table. Lay your ovaries on the table for everyone to see.
Use that
Oop,
intuition.
this one seems like the one for El Sadat. Pew. Oh, you got the partnership, vision, path, plan, aligned, kindred, 2 of Rods. El Sadat, that means you need to work in partnership with somebody today to accomplish some amazing goals that you have in mind. All right. Oh, Kankan Krishna Sama Prabhu wants you to do a card for her, not me. Okay, so you pull it and you explain it to her.
Ooh, I got 2.
2 cards for Kankan Krishna Sama Prabhu.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
First one is devastated, agony, ruin, slain victim, the 10 of Swords. Bad card, okay?
Mhm.
In general, not doesn't bode well for the day. But you got a second card. Let's see what that one is. The 9 of Pentacles. Independent, comforting, flourishing, thrive. 9 of Pentacles, I mean, ease. So I think what this means is your dog died, but overall your life is proceeding as you want it to, and things are going fine.
Yeah.
But-
You're feeling content independently.
Okay, let's see. Is there anybody else who want? Oh, Matias Sanchez. All right, Matias Sanchez.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, you got the same one, Matias Sanchez. You got this guy, the 9 of Pentacles. Thrive, ease, flourishing, comfortable, independent. You're feeling satisfied, good within yourself, and everything's all well and good.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall we, as a final thing here, Rachel, pull cards for each other? You want to pull one for me?
Yes.
See what Rachel pulled for me.
Oh! Oh no!
Huh.
Oh no!
That doesn't bode well for the day. But you know, I think this probably has to do with something specific that's weighing on me, which is
Oh.
I have to call Kimberly today and figure out about getting some more stuff from there. And I have a feeling it's this one. This is the 10 of Swords. I have a feeling she's not going to be cooperative. But I don't know. You shuffle them up and I'll pull the card for you.
But that makes sense.
Possible, yeah.
The signal's drop about. She's right. In which, like, you can.
Is my soul dry? Not at the moment. Dynamo, passionate, charm, cocky, charming, athlete, knight of rods. Well, your day seems to be going fine.
Well, maybe I'll come in and help you because I'm like the knight.
Oh yeah, maybe you will. Maybe your dynamic, passionate charm and cocky athleticism will save the day. Okay. So we'll put that one back.
How about one for your parents?
Okay.
Is your soul dry?
It's pretty moist at the moment. Yeah. For my parents. Increase, money, new. Opportunity, gig. Well, you know, that's not entirely inconsistent with my parents' general kind of portfolio mindedness, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, possibly maybe the stock market went up today. I don't know.
Ooh.
That's possible.
Yep.
So let's pull a card then for us and see what kind of day we're gonna have. We did one for me, one for you, Rachel. Let's do one for us.
Okay. And free the mind news. How did you guys meet? Through the channel, right? I got a typing with him, and he helped me.
I typed her as my girlfriend.
Yes, actually.
One for us. Let's hope for a good one. Come on, Tarot. Be nice to us today.
Well, it's been nice to us. I can't really.
It has. It has been very nice to us. Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
This is absolutely consistent with our day today. Conversation, mental, media, gossip, story, page swords. That's us. We're a media couple. Telling stories.
It's so true.
Telling stories, having conversations online. This is great.
He's mental.
Makes me happy that the badness of the day is contained within me and didn't spill over into us. That's a good thing. That makes me very happy. I can handle the badness. I think I see that Ten of Swords as I have to go back to that place where I was before today. I have to go revisit that and talk to Kimberly and be back in Ten of Swords land briefly. But, you know, for us, it's not going to spill over into us.
No.
It's not going to cause you to have a bad day. It's not even going to cause me to have a bad day.
No.
It's just indicating to me that you have to deal with that shit today, Eric. Today's the second to last day, so you have to deal with it now. You got to call her. You have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You have to go back to Ten of Swords for a little while. Well, fine. Tara, you have spoken. I respect your will. I respect your guidance here. I understand. And thank you for not spilling it over into us. I appreciate that.
Right.
So, okay, good. I feel satisfied now that we pulled that other card and I've got the story all lined up properly. For an awesome channel, I subscribe. You guys, so much fun and stuff. Thanks, Free the Mind News. That's great.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing you more often.
And Joey Jojo Shopper, I appreciate that addition as well to note that this is basically like the last time I'm going to have to deal with her. So I think that's what that means too. That's another good aspect to it.
And it's a lot in your head too. You know, because
Right.
it's the swords again. It's not like you're physically feeling sick or like drained.
Right. I'm not actually physically there stuck with her. I just have to, it's still weighing on my mind.
Yeah.
I got to go deal with that
Exactly.
shit. Perfect. Okay. So the tarot speaks, and you see the importance of playing the time magic properly so that you get the frame right. If you allow yourself to be consumed by bad frames, then you got a problem. If you frame it out properly like I just did and make sure everything works out nice, then the tarot speaks.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Have a great day. Don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.